All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, and that means it is time for the SC1 Factory Team Call, where we talk about helping you help others, and in doing so, building your dream. So this is the team call, happens every single Tuesday. We do record these, we put them up on YouTube. If you have not subscribed yet, please go through this QR code on the screen, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you get notifications, so you see when we upload new content every single week. Plus, we'd love to have you on here live. Our Zoom ID and passcode is the same every single week, and we would love to have you join us. We're so grateful for those of you that are here with us. Thank you, thank you. So just a quick rundown of this week's announcements. We want to make sure that each one of you are getting your email where you are seeing the Momentum Monday email in your email every single week. If you're not, get with corporate or check the settings in your back office, because you don't want to miss out on all of the details. Oh, it didn't run for me. Come on now, run. That are happening. So it's going to give you all of the different meetings that you should be plugging into. It's also going to be talking to you about winning tickets and different things that you can plug into. They wanted your input from Vegas, and if you can get that in today, you can be part of the drawing that 5 people will receive a free global ticket to convention. And then there's also the early bird deadline that was yesterday. Hopefully you got your registration for next April's Momentum Academy. And then there's different ways that you can make extra money this quarter as part of the incentive that's available. The new Axio flavors, if you haven't tried them, they are really good. Don't you love the guava?
Yes,
It's so good.
amazing.
So good. And then, of course, every single one of us has a mom. Some of us don't have our moms here with us, but if you know a mom out there, we've got the best gifts for them. Make sure that you are grabbing them for those moms in your life, as well as helping others be the best mom gift givers ever. New episode, Blue Elam did a recap of Momentum Academy. You don't want to miss that. And then corporate's been doing some really great social media trainings and giving us tips on how to have better interaction and followings. And then, of course, the activation tours start today. Actually, we'll be going to the one here in Phoenix. Make sure that you are checking bigbluecalendar.com for all of the locations. And if you are within a couple hours drive time, you need to be at those events and you need to be taking your prospects with you. And then, of course, we always want to protect this opportunity. Compliance is super important. So make sure that you go and learn more through the Momentum Monday email on how you can talk about this opportunity and protect it for future generations.
Yes, yes.
All right, coming on Thursday night, every Thursday, we are doing the live virtual opportunity presentation where you can bring your prospects. You can bring people that have, maybe you've shared some videos, maybe shared some tools. This is a great next step to be able to help people start making a decision on if they want to become a business partner with you, because this is a business opportunity and they can start their own micro franchise. Or, they'll learn about the products and potentially become a customer, because when we share the whole story, that is what happens. We get business partners and we get consultant or customers. We know that customers add to your business and consultants are more voices talking about it. And so they multiply the growth of your business. So same Zoom ID and passcode every single Thursday night. The time is 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And if you are Mountain or Central, you've got the times right here on the screen. And we have been mentioning Momentum Academy quite a bit, but coming up here in October, we are going to be in Salt Lake City for Global Convention. You do not want to miss these events. And we're going to be talking a lot today about belief as part of the training. And it's at these events, plugging in and being part of the community and the energy that really helps build your belief. Make sure that you are registered. It is October 21st through 24th. And again, it is in Salt Lake City, Utah. So make sure you get registered.
Yes, yes.
All right, week 3, guys, of how to become part of the 1%. So becoming part of the 1%, we want to help you become, right? Yes, your business will follow, but if you don't become the type of a person that can be part of the 1%, then your business will never follow, right? You've heard that old adage that you can only build a business as big as you are, right? And so that's what this series is all about. We are on week 3. If you missed week 1 and week 2, just go back to the YouTube channel. They are there. Get yourself caught up, and then make sure that you join us next week for week 4. But let's hop into week 3 and what the topic is, because I love this because mindset is so big.
Mindset is huge. Mindset is the prerequisite for everything. And it's one of those things that I heard it said one time, what the definition of a no-brainer is the prerequisite, you have to have a brain. Mm-hmm. And so to have a no-brainer, the prerequisite is to have a brain and use it. And that is the mindset. So when success is 80% psychology, 20% strategy. Most people are looking for the strategy and the 5 to 4 to 3 to what's the one script that's going to make me successful. They're looking for the strategy down to the minutia, that what's the one secret? And the answer is proper mindset. And Marci just mentioned something on compliance, and I want to just kind of pound this message home. This is a long-term process. We are a long game company. We want to change the world and leave legacies in health and prosperity for literally generations and generations and generations. So in order to do that, we have to have that mindset, which means we can't say something reckless to get a single transaction, a customer or a consultant into our business, because it could harm you. And let me just pound this message home, is that in fact, it just happened recently in the last month that $1 billion company in the United States got out of the network marketing business because of recklessness. And they were the company that established world attention to aloe vera. And it was because on the company side and on the consultant side, we must follow compliance. We must say truthful things, or as Brandon Cunningham says, we must protect mama. Because if we don't, as individuals, as consultants, we sign policies and procedures. We put our signature on something. So if we personally say something that is non-compliant, we can lose our consultantship and lose everything. But the company can too. And we have to protect everything. The company is very compliant. We make major strides. So we have to do the same thing. So we have to have first the psychology and the mindset. We must be compliant. We can't embellish. We can't exaggerate. And there's no need to. We are the activation company. We are the only activation company. And I hope there's going to be multiples, because that's when the world's attention is going to get drawn to this very special and sacred thing we have, but we have to protect it. That is part of the psychology. Protect this as a long-term effort. So now the strategy part of this, it starts with mindset. Mm-hmm. So everything comes down to mindset. And we're going to hear it woven through every one of the 11 weeks of this, how to become 1%. First, and I'm going to quote a quote from Napoleon Hill. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But you have to conceive it first. Then you have to believe it. And then your strategy, your actions, your state, your posture must be in complete congruence with that. That's what the difference between the 1% and the other 99% is. Mindset, congruence, belief, or conception, belief, and then achieve is through the actions and the posture and the strategy and the consistency. Yeah. And we've got the perfect ITT here.
Yeah. And, and just to add, a biblical side of this too, in Proverbs, there's a verse that says that there's life and death in the power of the tongue, right? Yes. There's more to the verse than that, but that is the summation of it. And what it means is that the things that come out of your mouth, you speak into life, right? And yet the things that come out of your mouth don't start in your mouth, they start in your mind. And so if you're not really focused on your mindset, then you could be creating the life that you do not want by thinking negatively, by thinking the wrong things that come out of your mouth, and you speak the wrong things into fruition. So this is a real concept, people, that we need to make. This has to be like a top priority, is in taking ownership and control of the thoughts that we're thinking and the words that come out of our mouths.
Yeah. And one thing I'm going to, under the subtitle here, it's not what you know, it's who you are when it's time to execute. And one of the things about the most successful 1%ers in this business, they're out of here and they're into here. It's a compassion game. It's caring about people sometimes more than they care about themselves in the beginning, and then giving them options to change their legacy. So that's who we are and who we become as a result of this is the ultimate measure of the psychology and strategy behind it. And that's the winning strategy.
All right. So you ready to get trained?
Let's get it.
Because we're working on training you, not the system. We're training you.
You, the mindset. So your internal dialogue shapes your results. In other words, how you talk about yourself when you're by yourself. And so belief drives behavior. So belief is mandatory. So think it, believe it. If you don't have the belief, do whatever it takes to get that belief. Borrow someone else's belief above you before you, but you have to have belief. Because if your belief is not there, it comes out in the lack of conviction in your invitation, or the lack of this urgency in your follow-up, or the lack of getting people the answers to their questions rather than thinking it has to come through you. That's arrogance. So let's use some wisdom here and some intelligence rather than arrogance. And the belief comes from everything. Then the energy shapes your communication. So when you are positive about something, it changes your state, it changes your energy, it changes your exchange, it changes your environment, it changes the atmosphere you're operating in. And then confidence fuels consistency. The more confident you are, the less you have to convince. And I'm going to say that again. The more confident you are, the less you have to convince, because it's he or she with the most certainty and belief that wins the argument. And we're not here to win an argument. We are here to change lives and legacies and generations. And that comes from confidence. And that's where the consistency comes from. So identity determines your outcome. So who you are, as it said on the previous slide, is really going to dictate your actions. And that's from your beliefs. And then the results, if you do it long enough to the right people and you do it with the right follow-up and intensity, your business is going to build and you're going to become part of the 1%. That's just how it happens. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe it, it comes across. You have commission breath, or you have uncertainty, or you waver. And people can pick up on that. It's an energy exchange. The one that has the most confidence and the most certainty has the highest energy and will always, always, always attract the other person rather than repel them. Because if somebody has more disbelief in what you think you believe, they've already won and you've already lost. You've got to change that. It is imperative. It's mandatory that your belief be high when you come to the game with this. And that's really, the belief is critically important. It dictates everything.
Yeah. And down here on the last bullet point where it says identity determines outcomes, identity is really your internal beliefs of who you are, right? What you're capable of. And the outward presentation of that is your posture and how you stand and how you show up. And so it really is, synonymous, identity and posture that will determine your outcome. So what we're talking about here is that everything starts internally. So before the call, before the invite, before the follow-up, there is a conversation that is happening inside of your mind.
Yeah.
And that conversation is either building you up or it is breaking you down. So weak thinking creates hesitation. So we've got to build that muscle strength, that thinking muscle, right? We got to build the thinking muscle because we do not want hesitation, because hesitation kills momentum. So strong thinking creates decisive actions. And that is where we are moving into, is decisive actions, because we've got that muscle built up.
Yes. And so what you must believe in for key, or I would even say critical areas. And you've seen another version of this. Once you get to is belief in the company. We have to believe in LifeVantage, belief in the industry that we are a part of, which is network marketing. Then once we've got that, then we believe in the company, and then we believe in ourselves. So here's another variation of that. Once you've already made that first determination, those first 4 beliefs, then we narrow down and we drill down even deeper in a couple of them. Products. You have to believe in the product, or even if it's just one product. And and I will be fully transparent. There are products in our product catalog that I don't use, because I like this skincare system. I would say that I'm very, very, very inconsistent.
He uses
on that.
parts of it.
I use
the cleanser like all the
occasionally.
time. Yeah.
I shave with the cleanser, and I use the anti-aging cream sometimes. And it's not because I don't believe in it. It's just my daily routine does not include that. And I obviously don't eat Pet Tandem, though I smell it every day. I give it to my dog, and I don't want
He
to
loves
eat
bacon.
I love bacon. But the key is that we have to believe in the product. So whatever products you need to use to have full transparency and full conviction, then maybe that's the only product or stack that you talk about, and you maintain integrity all the time doing that. Then the next is the system. We have to believe in the ITT system. It is reproducible. It has shown decades and decades and decades of proof. It's just called other things in other companies, but it's still the invite, the tool, the team. No company has ever deviated from that. Then the team, you've got to believe in the corporate team, the field team, your direct line of sponsorship, and realize they've got me. I can do this, but I need their support. I need their encouragement, especially if you're new. But trust in the fact that the company's been around for a long time because of the team.
Yes.
And the team is very widespread at corporate. It's very widespread in the field. And we are like this, two hands in the same glove. And then you've got to believe in yourself. You can do this. This is the one that's the hardest for people. They can see all the others and go, well, maybe, can I do this? The answer is yes. And we will believe in you before you believe in yourself. That's also part of this. So just learn these 4 areas, believe in them, and then just let the system do its job.
Yeah. So if you have full belief in these 4 areas, you will not hesitate. You will go out boldly sharing this. You won't delay or procrastinate. You'll do exactly what you know you need to do, because guess what, guys? You know what to do. You just aren't doing it because you don't have belief in one of these areas. Something else that can happen is that you will not rely on the system if you don't have belief in all of these areas, and you will start to be that person that's oversharing. You're sharing too much. You're not using the system because you don't have the belief that you need to have. And then when you have that complete belief locked in, you're going to be able to show up differently. You're going to be able to speak differently. You're going to follow up differently because you're coming from a different posture. You're coming from that different identity that's rooted in belief, right? And then people will join you then because you're going to just exude this like powerful person and somebody that I want to be around and be part of, right? So really focus on, where am I struggling in my belief and how can I build it? Because there are so many different ways to be able to build up each and every one of these areas. And I mean, obviously, it's really a matter of taking the product, doing the system over and over and over again until you build up your belief in it, and utilizing the team so that you can do the same.
Yeah.
Guys.
One thing I feel very, very compelled to say right now is that please, please, please do not use your level of success as the benchmark when you're talking to other people, because you have a team of support all the way to the top of our company, the presidentials. And if you're talking to someone in whatever rank you are, if you are feeling that that is not a significant enough rank to talk about the merits of the potential of this company, let me ask you, please erase that thought from your mind right now. Because it doesn't have to start with your vantage point. It starts with what's possible. And that's where the income disclosure statement comes in. When you can say, regardless of your rank, when you are sharing this with other people, think about if you were at the Momentum Academy in Las Vegas, think about the reality that when Blue Elam and his family got into that horrific accident, where his wife lost his leg, he's got metal bars in his leg. Both of his daughters, or 2 of his daughters, became paralyzed from the waist down in a split-second accident. It was also the same exact month they hit presidential in rank. And they didn't have to worry about medical bills. Nobody had to worry about anything when you hit the rank of presidential. So think about who would like to have the certainty in their life that no matter what comes against them, you've got the financial wherewithal to handle it. Who would not want that opportunity? So if it's not your experience yet, use the potential of, this is somebody as part of our company, they're part of my organization. Everybody, we're all connected here at LifeVantage. So share the potential with someone who's already experienced. It does not have to be you.
Yeah.
And I have thought about that for a long, long time, because when I'm talking to people about being presidential and they ask, are you presidential? It's like, no, I'm not, but I'm heading there, and follow us. I'll show you how to get there, or I can introduce you to someone who is. They're like, dear friends of ours. Let's go together. So your rank has nothing to do with your conviction. It has everything to do with your potential. And when you're talking to other people about this, use the income disclosure statement and the stories of the support people that are part of your team as the leverage rather than your own experience. So if you have to, it's like, I have to get to a certain rank before I can speak convictingly about this, the answer is no, you do not.
No.
Use your team of support and our income disclosure statement to paint the picture of what's possible.
Yeah, and a really great resource that you may or may not know about is that some of the top leaders, Brandon Cunningham, who is a presidential, and Dr. Skip Campbell, who is also a presidential, have put together a really cool podcast to where it's people sharing their stories on why would they.
Yeah.
So the name of the podcast is Why Would They? This is what it looks like. And there are 12 episodes here already that you can utilize and share for building that belief or showing someone else that, hey, it's possible. These people did it. This is how they started. This is how they did it. And this is where they are now and what they're excited about, right? So you have resources out there to be able to share the success that is possible, even when you aren't quite to the success level that you have set for yourself, right? You're on the way. That is success in itself.
Yes.
Most people don't even get started. So take a second right now and just pat yourself on the back and say, go me, because you're awesome. You're awesome.
Marci.
Okay, here we go.
Let's do it. All right, so the action changes state. This is something we got from Tony Robbins. Marci and I went to the Unleash the Power Within live event right before COVID hit in San Jose, California. And I will tell you, it was a transformational experience because he talked about get in your state, make your move. And then when it says here, action changes state, the reverse statement is also true. State changes action. Mm-hmm. So if you're feeling down and you're feeling defeated and you're feeling discouraged, literally just stand up, take a deep breath, put your shoulders back, chest out, yell your primal scream, make your move, whatever that is, some kind of a physical activity, and it instantly changes your state. It instantly changes your brain chemistry, and it instantly changes your focus. You go from a wide focus to a very narrow focus, and all you did was change your posture, literally. And people may think, oh, it can't be that easy. It is that easy. So just stand up, chest out, shoulders back, make some kind of a noise and make some kind of a physical move, and it changes your state. And then you can go from being defeated and to being excited, being low, and literally it changes your endorphins. It increases the endorphins and chemistry in your body to a positive state, releases positive chemistry. You can go from feeling from down to feeling excited, from feeling dejected to feeling laser focused and feeling inspired. So action changes your state. So your posture changes your presence. And please test us on it. If you don't believe me, do it yourself.
As a matter of fact, right now, if you're on with us live, if you're leaning back into your chair and you're just sitting there watching, I want you to sit up straight, put those shoulders back. I want you to take a deep breath and then let it out hard. And just do that a couple times, guys, because seriously, motion will shift your emotion, right? And then I want you just to take notes, like, how was I feeling before? And now how am I feeling just after just that one quick movement? And then if you want to take it to the next step, stand up and just ground your feet, right? And then just like, oh, do that, because it will change your energy. I will tell you that from the time that we sat down to start this call, just talking about this has got me so freaking jacked. I don't know if you can tell or not, but seriously, my energy has just like, it's like, guys, it is the truth. This is your physiology. It is the way you were designed. You have the power inside of you. You just need to shift. You just need to shift.
Yes. So that when I was excited, sometimes I'll just yell at Marci from upstairs or wherever at, make your move. And that's she does. I can't see her, but I hear that primal scream, and I know exactly what happens because we got taught that at the live event and then all the virtual events we've done from Tony Robbins. And there's no one better at personal empowerment than Tony Robbins. So learn from the master in that. Movement creates energy and small wins build momentum. So even if it's just an invitation in a text and it hasn't even been answered yet, that's movement that builds confidence. And then repetition eliminates your fear, because the more you do something, the less unfamiliar it is and the more familiar it becomes, which is where your confidence comes from. So don't think your way into confidence, move your way into it. Because if you, and I'm a Top Gun fan. There's a scene in the original Top Gun when he says, when they ask him, what were you thinking up there? He goes, if you think you're dead, you have to act in a split-second way. That's the state.
Yeah.
And when you've got that confidence already, I'm in this $20 million plane or whatever it is, and Tom Cruise, Maverick, he's already got the confidence of the armament behind him. He doesn't have to think, or he doesn't have to think about it. He just moves on instinct. And that's the thing.
Yes.
When you can take thoughts and create instinct, it's because of repetition and consistency and momentum, which eliminates fear.
So you want to learn from the master, like Dondee mentioned, but then you have to become your own master, right? I mean, because think about those pilots up in those fighter jets. Think about that. They had to learn from a master, and then they did simulations. But then when they were in the jet, they had to be the master, right? And so that's entirely what this training series is all about, is helping you become the master of your own business by becoming the master of yourself first.
I'm going to quote the Master Yoda when he says, do or do not. There is no try. When you're trying, you're thinking about it. You're not confident. Oh, yeah, I guess I'll try. You're thinking, you're in your head. You're not in your state. So action changes your state. Take action.
Boom.
Boom. Mental traps, the silent killers of success. And this happens to all of us. The best of the best of the best suffer from these constantly. They just don't let them affect them. It's like water off a duck's back or brush off the shoulder. But the fear of rejection, every single presidential and the equivalent in every other company who's ever been around in any industry has always had the fear of rejection, even if it's just temporary. But their brain will eventually overpower it. And then comparison, or as Marci says, compare-itis.
Yeah, I coined that term several years ago. And seriously, itises are diseases, right? So compare-itis is the most fatal of all of the itises. It is for sure going to kill, steal, and destroy every hope, dream, and purpose that could ever be in your life. So do not let comparison kill your success. Yeah. Because you were given your own gifting. If you've been able to think it, if you've been able to feel it, if you've been able to just conjure it up from inside of you, that's a gift that was given to you. And it means you have everything you need to accomplish it.
Yeah. There's something that, speaking of comparison, we heard McCasey talk on stage at Momentum Academy in Las Vegas, and he's one of the amazing leaders that came over from Love Biome. And he talked about his purpose is to help people say yes to their best.
Yeah.
And even saying that that's his why, and it brings tears to me because that is so big. Say yes to your best. But then he said, also as part of that is to help people stop comparing their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 25. They've been in the industry for a long time. They've taken the bumps and bruises and rejections and judgments, and they move through them. And when someone is comparing someone else's success to their own, it's because they're comparing chapters that are not comparable. So stop the comparison process and look at the potential. So perfectionism, victimized, self-admitted perfectionist, you got to let that go. That's overthinking. It's poor thinking. It's stinking thinking, as Zig Ziglar would say. And you wait to feel ready. You're never ready. You just got to act. So get rid of all that fear of rejection stuff, the comparison stuff, the perfectionism stuff. There is no such thing. A good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow because it started today. And then overthinking it. Get out of your head and into your heart. This is a why business. And then waiting to feel ready. You're never ready.
No.
Success is waiting for you, but you're never ready. You just go for it anyway. So you jump out and open the parachute on the way down.
Yeah. Do you know what has most people stuck? It's their own emotions. And did you know emotions aren't really even real? Yeah, they might be something that you've attached to an experience that you've had in the past, but guess what? That experience is in the past. And so why are you letting it affect your future, right? So most people that are experiencing that emotional prison, I would even say, it sometimes shows as waiting for the right time or doubting that they can do this or comparing themselves to somebody else like we've been talking about, or just plain hesitating and taking the action that they know that they should be taking, or they are just preparing and over preparing, trying to be good enough. Well, we got to tell you guys, the people that have the success that you desire, the only reason they have it and you may not yet is because they acted imperfectly. They did the do before they felt like they were really ready to do it, right? And they did it consistently for a long enough period of time. So we've got to get out of our own way. We've got to stop letting those emotions hold on to you and trap you. And you need to just say, no more to these silent killers of your success.
Yeah, one before we move on to the next slide. How do you know if you're being affected by these? And the thing we haven't talked about yet is you settle. You convince yourself that and settle for less while your heart and everything about you cries out for more. If you have ever negotiated with yourself and you've settled, and I'm going to paraphrase what Blue said from stage at Momentum Academy. He says, if we negotiate the price of success so long that we would have been there already if we would have just paid it. And the pay it is to get, I get moved by that because that motivates me. Get in action and stop settling for less while your soul cries out for more. Get rid of that stinking thinking and go.
Stop thinking it needs to look a certain way.
Right.
And just go. Just do the dang
that was for me.
thing.
Yeah. The system that protects your confidence, ITT. Invite, tool, team. It's always been that way.
Say it with me. Say it with me. ITT. ITT. It's so simple.
And the invite, you have to act before your emotion agrees, before you're ready, before your brain tells you, just do it. Do it. Do it. And then tool, let the system do the talking. And just I remember Mark and Lori Welch, they said, show the clip, zip the lip, and make the flip. So show ABC primetime, keep your voice silent, and when they've got questions, flip it over to your upline. So don't be the messenger. Or don't be the message, be the messenger. So tool, let the system do the talking and zip your lip. And then lastly, borrow the success and the belief from your team leader. So turn it over to the team. That's a great question. Let me get someone on the line who can answer that in the best way possible for you. Yeah. Even though you know the answer to the question, it doesn't matter that you know. It matters the way the system works, and that is not to answer the questions of your prospects. And I pound this message home because every time I do, I'm reiterating to myself 16 years ago when I was the one answering all the questions, because I want them to know I'm a doctor. I know all the answers. That was the most arrogant, stupid thing I've ever done in success in this business, or hindering my success, is answering all the questions of my prospects. Don't follow into that trap.
Yeah, no, utilize ITT as one of the best belief building machines that you possibly can for yourself, but also in showing other people, your prospects, how they can do this business too, right? Because they don't need to know everything. You don't need to say everything. You don't need to be everything. You just need to use ITT, right? Invite, use a tool, plug into the team, because you don't need to be confident. You just need to be connected, right? And that confidence, will grow by using the system.
Yeah. One thing that
not without it.
On this bottom statement here, you don't need to be confident, you need to be connected. And the first person that pops in my head is Rob Smolek. When he got into this business, he was a successful entrepreneur, but he had zero belief in network marketing. So he had no confidence. But he met somebody by the name of Marcel Niederhauser, who had all the confidence in the world and was connected. So Rob's like, you know what? I don't need to be confident. I just need to introduce my people to this guy and let him do all the work. And that's exactly what happens. Now, talk about confident. You cannot dissuade Rob Smolek. He started with 0 and now he's got 1,000,000,000,000% because he followed this system, saw that it worked, and then he developed his confidence while he was watching the people that he was connected to fill in the blanks of his prospect who had questions, because he couldn't answer them. And so ignorance in the beginning is a servant to you. But if you've already been involved, do not claim ignorance, because that's out of integrity. Show the system. And when I say you don't answer questions, it's not because you're saying, I don't know the answer to that. That's a great question. Let me introduce you to somebody who can answer that the best way possible for you. You already know the answer, so do not claim ignorance. If you don't have it, that's out of integrity and it's a breach, and people smell it.
And literally. It doesn't smell good.
No.
Not at all.
So train your mind like your body daily. Even if it's just minutes, your personal development, your input, what is going into your brain? When something, and I heard this lady from the South talk about something that was an epiphany to her. She said, it bent my brain in her Georgia accent. It bent my brain. So personal development, when you input goes in and it changes your reality, use that. That is bulletproof ammunition. And then gratitude, be thankful that you've got this opportunity. Be thankful that you have an opportunity that goes above and beyond anything that we've ever learned in our degrees or going to school or going to college. We don't have to worry about that old system anymore. We've got a new system, and anybody who plugs into it can get the benefits. That's where your perspective comes from, your gratitude, and then your identity statements. So it's how you talk to yourself that matters most. Because when you talk to yourself the way you let other people talk to you, you'd hate yourself. That's why you don't do it.
Punch yourself in the throat.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to believe. Whether it's I'm strong, I'm confident. Again, that state. Change your posture. Make your moves. Make that primal scream. I'm capable. I have a system that I believe in and a team that I can work with that are going to show me the way. We're going to go all the way to the top.
I was created for this. I'm worthy of it.
Yes. Review your wins. Even what is a win? You made an invite and you didn't die. You typed it up and you hit send and your phone didn't blow up in your hand. And whether you get the 3 moving dots in response does not matter. That was a win. Capitalize on that, then send another one and send another one and send another one. And then when you get the responses back, they've got questions, you've got a team of support for that. You've got tools, you've got a team, and then rehearse your why. Because if you don't know why you do this, help people say yes to their best. Or Dr. Brett Brimhall, my purpose is to help people get less of what they don't want and more of what they want. And when I talk about other people's whys, I get emotional because they're powerful. They rock you to the core. And if you don't have that yet in yourself, you need to find it. And you need to, because that's your fuel to move. When someone closest to you judges you harshest, it stings. But that's the fuel to keep you going because you believe what they don't yet know.
Keep it in front of you all the time. Whether you write it out and have it right next to where you work or in your car, if you drive a lot, whatever it is, have it right in front of your face. The statement at the bottom here is so powerful, and it just really was like impactful for me. If you don't train your mind, the world will train it for you. And there is so much crap out in the world. I mean, the world wants you to believe that you need to rely on the government for everything. And I say absolutely no to that. And I hope you say no to that too. You are fully capable. And like I said, you were created for this. So train your mind to take you where you know you can see yourself going.
Yes. Preach.
Let's go.
So this week's standard, challenge yourself for this. Make this your weekly standard. Write your identity statement. Say yes to your best. Help people get less of what they don't want, more of what they want, whatever is unique to you. And then do one uncomfortable action daily. Why? Because the more you do things that are uncomfortable, the more familiar discomfort gets and the more success you will have. Because nothing grows in the comfort zone. Just how it is. And then plug into team calls. So here's the thing about LifeVantage that I absolutely love. We are an open book. And so if your immediate team doesn't have calls, or you don't vibe with the calls, find a team who has calls you vibe with. And you shouldn't have to look far. And there is no one that I know of who's a top leader in this company, from the executive ranks to the presidential ranks, who would not welcome you on their team calls if you just simply asked how to get on. That is really how it works and should work. And then replace your negative self-talk immediately. Even if it's just, I'm awesome for right now. And then say it again tomorrow. Even if you don't believe it, keep saying it, because eventually you will believe. Because what did Napoleon Hill say? Whatever the mind of man can conceive, think up, believe, buy into, it can achieve, just as long as it's consistent. So confidence is built through action, not waiting or procrastinating. Those are the killers of success.
Okay.
And this is the reality of it. This is our last slide for today. And pound it home. The 1% simply think different than the other 99. And can you change your way of thinking? Absolutely. Sometimes you need proof. Sometimes if there was a company that all talked about potential and they had no one at the top rank of the company, there might be some disbelief there. But that is not us. We've got a lot of people at the top of this company we've been around for almost 2 decades. We're tried, we're true, we're on the NASDAQ, we're debt-free, we're acquiring other companies. We've got people at the top of the pay list here, which means it works. And we've got scientific validity behind our products. We have a bulletproof opportunity, my friends. And so when you have that as your backing, you just think differently. You just got to buy into what we have. Be grateful for what we have. I will tell you this. I hear all the time that when people look at LifeVantage, I would love it if our company had an ABC prime time like you have. I would love it if we had scientifically validated products. I would love it if we're a publicly traded company, so there's no guessing. There's no secret behind closed doors deals. I would love it if we had a board of directors that would have the guts, and I almost said something different, to fire someone at the C-suite executive if they weren't doing what was right for the company. I would love to have the results. I'd love to be around 20 years like you guys. We hear that kind of stuff all the time. We are the epitome of unicorn in the network marketing industry. Own that. And the people that act before they feel ready are the ones that are part of the 1%. Just get used to that strategy. They trust the system. We've got a proven system. It's been around for a long time. They guard their mindset. They don't let anybody's disbelief change theirs. And if you don't have the belief yet, rely on the belief of your support. And then they do what others avoid, which is consistent action all the time in alignment with your purpose or your why, or what are you doing this? help people say yes to their best, whatever it is. I love that one. That one's resonating with me more and more. So figure out what it is, because that's what it takes to be part of the 1%. Consistency and deep, deep, deep cellular rooted integrity and belief in what you're doing, because you got to think differently to have different.
So I want to challenge each one of you to go back and take mental note of, up until now, questions you've been asking yourself, those what if statements, right? Have you been asking yourself, what if this doesn't work? What if people think I'm crazy? What if I can't do it? What if? And then I want you to shift it to the opposite. What if this does work? What if people are helped? What if I am able to become who I want to become and be a great leader that changes people's lives? Because it's all in the questions that you're asking yourself that comes down to the mindset that you have. And we need to shift your mindset into the what if this works? What if I am the one that brings myself into the game and makes all the difference in somebody else's life? What if? Because each one of you are that, and we see that in you. So thank you guys so much for being here with us. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah.
Bring your friends.